Terrific. Today on We Love to Camp, water problems. Hey Camping Nation, welcome back to We Love to Camp. That's Ace. He's gonna lick me, he's gonna lick me, he's gonna lick me. So this is our emergency episode. Water is probably the number one enemy for these travel trailers. And water seems to be the number one problem with them. As mentioned before, we have a Sunset Trails 2018 331 BH model, and I've had to chase this thing with a wrench. We bought it secondhand. The original owners didn't do anything to it except for use it. I'm constantly chasing little problems. El Presidente is making dinner. She pulls a pot out from underneath the sink, and it's already halfway filled with water. Yeah, great. So crawl up underneath here, and as if you can't tell, that's where I am. I've got the stove right here, the front door's right there, and there's a dog right there, and another one. We've got way too many of them. So I crawl up underneath here looking for the problem, and it was pretty quick and easy, but I want to point this out to you guys so you can take a look and see if it's an issue now on yours at the beginning of the season, instead of waiting until you have a pot full of water, or worse, blistering wood that has water damage. So check this out. So what happened when I came down here, I ran some water in the sink, and as soon as I did that, I saw little bits of water dripping from right here. So I reached up and I grabbed this collar, and this is what holds the drain basket in, and it was loose. I'm talking, I could do that and it would spin down. So obviously I reached in and I tightened it up, snugged it up, and it does have a rubber gasket up here, so it doesn't take a whole lot of torque. And then I reached over and grabbed this one, even though it wasn't leaking, and it was just as loose. So this was leaking and running gray water all up in here. Most of it was getting caught up in a skillet, so yeah, score. So I thought I was done. I torqued this bad boy down by hand, of course, and again, he will kick that door open whenever he gets a chance to and just stick his head out. So anyways, like I said, I thought I was done, but it was still leaking. So I took that nut off and took off the black rubber gasket. And, you know, I'm inspecting it and I don't see any damage on it anywhere. It's just wet. So this isn't making a whole lot of sense. So now I'm wondering if there's something messed up with that rubber mess right there. Right here. It's even since 2018 and it's still a little gooey. Obviously the water's getting through there first, and then it's getting past the O-ring. Yeah, there goes my flashlight. There we go. So I'll use this flashlight. And then, yeah, it makes me wonder if that's not compromised somewhere. So I guess what I need to do now is put the sink stopper in there, put a little bit of water in it, put the sink stopper in here to stop the water from coming out the drain, then fill the water to the bottom of the basin, to the top of the strainer, and see if water comes pouring out through that black gasket material. So this is what we're dealing with up on the top. And please forgive if anything seems nasty or disgusting. This is not scripted. This is reality. I mean, this is how real it is. So you'll see when they made this, pride in the finished product was never really a consideration. If anybody on any of my job sites did work like this, they would get sent back to the hall instantly, because that does not fly unless you're building a camper. So I'm going to drop the plug into the strainer, into the basket, and whoa, that didn't work out so well. Okay, now it's holding. Yeah, that just made a big mess. Okay, so fill it up to the top of the basket, right there. Now I got to see where it's coming from down here. Now see, this is killing me. Unless I just fixed it when I run my finger across here. Oh, wait. Did you see that? I saw something. All right, so I'm just gonna smear this stuff a little bit more and try and button it back up. We'll see what happens. Okay, it's the next day, and the sink situation is still dire. So what happened here, I went to the Home Depot and I got 2 of these kitchen sink strainer washer set. Keyword here, set, as far as I was concerned. And it actually even says right here, 2 pieces. So when I cut this open, I got one big thick rubber washer and a cardboard one. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with that, but I thought I bought enough to do both sides of the sink. Yeah, it looks just like that. So I thought I bought enough to do both sides, but in reality, ended up I got enough to do one side. But both packages was like $5 or something like that, so it's not a big deal. So I'm gonna do this one up with rubber gaskets on top and on the bottom, and clean up all of this sloppy, poor craftsmanship and make that look pretty too. So what I decided to do is, once I got all that black goo out of the inside of the sink, I used the original thin rubber washer and I put it up there instead of the black goo. Now this one, the thick one, the new one, is going to get pinched in there. And that's where the fun comes from. That's where the fun begins. Whatever. Yes, exactly.
So is that what's been leaking all the time?
Situation update. Here's what happened. I ended up turning off the phone because, you know, it is 8 o'clock on a Thursday evening, and, you know, I've got to go to work in the morning. El Presidente's got to go to work in the morning. The boy's got to go to school. Actually, he does not need to go to school today because today was the last day of school. He's out for the summer. 7th grader now. So, anyways, showers, dogs, dinner, all kinds of stuff going on. So I just turned off the video camera because of all the noise and all the commotion. So here is what I was doing. I peeled off all that black goo, the sloppy craftsmanship on the top side, inside the sink. I was peeling all that off. And my original plan when I bought the kit was to do 2 new gaskets, one on top, one on bottom. I put a new sink in our laundry room in the house, and it had rubber gaskets on both sides, and it really went together beautifully. It was it's a German sink. So then when I discovered one was cardboard, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that, and I don't care. I'm not using it. So then what I figured, since I inspected the original factory rubber gasket and it was actually in good shape, I decided to put the thin rubber gasket up on top underneath the basket, and then use the thick one underneath the sink and spin the nut on there and have two rubber gaskets, thick on the bottom, thin on the top. Sounds great. I spent 30-40 minutes peeling all that black goo out of there. It looks like they used twice as much as what was actually needed. So I don't have the time or the money, honestly, to buy a new sink. Not right now. So I am running to the Walmart, and I need to pick up some JB Weld. I know most of you probably know what JB Weld is, and there's a few of you that don't. And basically, it's a cold weld. I don't know the chemical reaction aspect, any of that, but you mix 2 equal parts of this putty, you stir it together, and it dries to a metal-like hard surface. And I'm going to smear some of that stuff in there, in the hole, try and make it nice and pretty, and hopefully that'll hold. If it doesn't hold, then we're only going to have half a sink. If it does hold, then we're going to use the other sink and hardly use that one, but it'll still be there when we actually need it. My end goal with this issue is to replace the sink, and I want to put a single basin sink in there. The dual basins, the 2 basins are so small that you can't even put a plate in the sink and have it sit flat. You have to stand it on end, and it's a pain in the rear, and it just looks ugly. And you can have one meal. 3 people eat breakfast, even if it's just bowls of cereal. And when you put the dishes in there, it looks all clunky and messed up and a garbled up mess, just because nothing sits in there properly. So I will use this as an excuse to get the sink that I want. And of course, I'm gonna most likely get stainless, unless it's like really stupid expensive. So that's what's going on. I got lucky. I found the leak accidentally. That's awesome. The fact that there's a hole in the sink is not awesome. So from the looks of it, is somebody put it together, put water in it, and it leaked. So then they went back, found the hole, and instead of replacing the sink, they just put a whole bunch of the putty in there. That's exactly what it looks like. So what I was calling poor craftsmanship was actually somebody trying to hide a damaged sink. Terrific. I'm telling you, I don't think I would buy another one. Not this brand. This is pre-COVID. I can't blame it on COVID, just regular craptastic quality control. Anyways, I'm going in here. Gonna go get what I need to get back out here, and hopefully I can get to bed at a decent time tonight, because it's Thursday and I haven't been to bed at a decent time yet. All right, we'll be back. You can see a little bit of discoloration right there. That is the JB Weld. I can live with that. Here we go. Finished product. You can see it right here, a little bit on the edge. And you know what? I'm okay with that, because even with that, it looks better than that. I've got everything I need to redo this one. I may and may not do it. since I want to change out this whole sink now and get a single basin sink just to get rid of that hole. Because honestly, how long will that JB Weld hold up? I don't know. Look at this. No dishes. Clean dishes. Good stuff. So when you're running these rigs, you really got to be prepared for problems. I've always jokingly said that as soon as you get to a campground, you instantly find out where the nearest Walmart is. But always be ready for emergencies. Always have some tools to do the basics. I guess that's going to be it for this week. Another short one. You guys know where to find us. Come back next week. Click like, click subscribe, share, leave comments. Leave comments. Have you ever seen a sink with a hole in it from the factory? Is this 1 in a million, or is this actually kind of common? I've never heard of it. But drop comments. And, well, I guess if I don't see you in the comments, we'll see you at the campground.